For Module 5, we're going to look at component participation, and we're going to export a layout with drawing views into model space. We're going to dimension a drawing view, and we're going to edit an AutoCAD 3D model in Autodesk Inventor Fusion. And then I'm going to close today with our conclusion. So our goal is to look at component participation from a full section of an assembly, create dimensions, and then edit that model in Autodesk Inventor Fusion, and then close out by taking that drawing views that we've created and exporting that layout into model space. So let's get started on our final module. I'm creating an assembly of 3D AutoCAD parts, and I need to go in to create a full section. So on my ANSI sheet of paper, I've already done that for us. And when I look at the front view that was created, I'm looking at how AutoCAD sections this assembly. And if you look at the top plate and the side plates and the bottom plates, the section lines or the crosshatch lines are 90 degrees to each other at the 45-degree angle, which is an ANSI standard. The holes in the middle of the part are not sectioned, which is correct. But at the top and the bottom, the socket head cap screws or the pins are sectioned. And under drafting CAD standards or conventional drafting practices, we do not section those socket head cap screws or pins. So we need to remove that. And this is called component participation. So I'm going to go in and edit out those components. To do that, go up to Edit Components in the Modify View panel of the Layout tab. The command is View Component. So it says to select the component. Well, what I'm going to do is create a little crossing window right inside where that socket head cap screw is. And then I'm just going to go down to the bottom of my screen and select None. And the hatch pattern goes away. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other socket head cap screw and select None. Well, what about these pins? I'll go in here and I'll select the pin. I'll select that. Wow, oh, I'm getting way too much stuff. So how am I going to do this? Let's try this again. I'm going to go into Edit Components. I'm going to create a crossing over everything here. Hold my Shift key down and select the edge of that steel plate that's on the side. So as I select that, the plate goes away, and then press Enter and None, and the crosshatch goes away. Let me do it one more time. So I'm going to go into Edit Component, do a small little crossing window, hold the Shift key, remove that outside part, press Enter, select None, and I've removed the hatching from those pins or from the socket head cap screw. Again, calling that component participation. I need to start putting dimensions on my AutoCAD drawing views. I also realize I need to make a change to this 3D model, and I've been requested to export the drawing views, export the layout, I should say, into model space. So let's take a look at those three techniques. On my ANSI sheet of paper, I've already started to create our views and started putting dimensions on. So I've already created that detailed view, got my nice isometric, and I've also started to place a few dimensions. But I want to call your attention to the system variable dim, ASSOC, for dimension associate, or I call it dim assoc. And it's set to 2. And we need to have that set to 2 for trans-spatial dimensioning as we dimension in paper space, and that's a key. So I'm going to zoom up here and I'm going to put a diameter dimension on this circle, and I'm going to come back and put another diameter dimension on that circle, which is the 2 holes that are drilled through, or the counter bore on that top plate. I can go on and continue dimensioning, but I think you get the idea, right? You've dimensioned before. What I need to do is to now make an editing change. And the engineering change order that came through said that these holes are too small. They need to be larger. So I'm going to go in and edit those two holes. To do that, I can use sub-object editing techniques. So I'm going to hold Control key. I'm going to select the face of that hole that goes through. I'm going to turn my properties on and change the radius/diameter in properties. So I call you, oh, wait a second. There's nothing in properties. I can't make a change. Oh no. Somebody must have done this part long time ago, or they didn't have solid history turned on. I have no history on this part. So now what I need to do is still fix it. So how would you fix that hole? I'm going to click on the part and I'm going to go to Edit in Fusion. And I'm going to open up Autodesk Inventor Fusion with my part, and I'm going to start to make the changes to those circles. So if I zoom in closely here, I'm going to select that face and I'm going to go to press pull and change that radius. It's giving me the radius, so I'm going to go to 0.35 and press enter. Then I'm going to go and change the other hole to 0.35. So select that face, change it to 0.35, and now those two holes are now larger. I also know that this hole doesn't look right either, where it's sort of like a counterbore that's milled out. I need to change that to 2.1. And so in Autodesk Inventor Fusion, I've made those changes to the part that I can't do in AutoCAD. Again, this is direct manipulation of a feature inside of Autodesk Inventor Fusion. I'm going to return to AutoCAD. And when I come back into AutoCAD, you can see that the changes have occurred. Well, let's check the ANSI B layout, our sheet of paper, and what has happened. For some reason, my dimensions have not been associative. They were disassociated. Something must have happened. Because in many cases when I've done this, the dimensions just reassociate and everything is set properly. So what I need to do now is to go back in and reassociate all those dimensions. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm not going to do all of them for the sake of time, of course. The command that I'm going to use would be dim reassociate. So I'm going to go ahead and select dim reassociate and select the edge of that circle. And there's my 0.7, exactly what I thought it would be. Let's go ahead and reassociate. I don't want to delete. Select the circle. And it's that simple to make those changes. So just select the little exclamation and select the circle, in this case, of what you want to change back. So when the model in Inventor came back to AutoCAD, again, for some reason, it didn't associate properly. But we have the ability to go back into reassociate. What I need to do is to export this layout. Somebody says, you know, I don't want it in a paper space layout. I need to have this over in model space. So can we do that? And the answer is yes. So down in the command line, I'm going to type in export layout. And when I go into export layout, it's going to prompt me for the name of the AutoCAD drawing that I want to give it a name to. So export layout, I'm going to just call it base bracket, and I'm going to go in and delete out what I have. ANSI B is fine, and I'm going to go ahead and save that drawing off as a new drawing. Do I want to open it? Sure, I want to open it. Let's see how it looks. And there it comes in my model space view. Just type in export layout. In conclusion, you are now able to create AutoCAD drawing views from multi-view drawings, orthographic projection, isometric views from AutoCAD and Autodesk Inventor 3D models. And we looked at least 12 different examples. You're able to create sectional views and also edit AutoCAD and Inventor 3D models to update the drawing views. We were able to take the drawing views in a layout and export that layout into model space. And the value add for today was to edit an AutoCAD 3D model from inside of Autodesk Inventor Fusion. And as I started this presentation, I want to conclude by thanking you for spending your valuable time with us today.